We're at 18-19, so yeah, 19-20 would be out last year.
So next year, so we
Next
have
school year.
next
But it
school.
would be a full school year, correct?
Yeah.
Like both my kids are in sped services, speech and stuff, so I wanna make sure that they're gonna be covered a full year next year, or you're gonna cover them somehow in districts.
You won't see any changes. in
Nothing,
that
okay,
stuff.
good.
Everything I'm talking about
Okay.
really is just administrative stuff.
Okay,
Who pays, how we pay, how we share stuff, but like services to kiddos, I mean, you won't notice it
Okay.
with those ones. Yeah. Let me take some questions about special ed, because, like I said, the transition of it all, we're taking quite a bit of time just to plan and step by step. Like for us, we have life skills, as you all will know, but we don't have adaptive behavior units. So we'll have to hire and prepare for adaptive behavior units in our district. And again, just like posting jobs for diagnosticians, we'll do that in advance, hire special people to work in those areas. Now, instructional aid, we don't intend on letting anybody go. The only difference is we have to take a certain amount of instructional aids. For example, move people around. Because here we have 20, in our district, we have about 27, is that right, Paul? Hardy Jefferson kids. So if you take 27 life skill kids and move them back to Hardy Jefferson, obviously the numbers go down, and therefore you have to take personnel people around. So, but we'll have to cover behavior units. Yeah, so we're not gonna lose any staff by doing this. So that may be the question. So we're not gonna lose any staff by getting out of special ed.
Have we thought about how we're housing them on this campus, like,
No, we have a whole year and a half to plan for it, and so we'll get to those details probably next school year. Yeah. Now, one of the differences you'll see next school year is we'll start pulling away, which means we'll operate more independently. So you'll probably see less of Janet Davis, let's say, for example, and we'll start making some of our own decisions more independently. That'll be next school year, 1920. Yes, so Ms. Davis would be our primary person for special ed. We would still be supported by the co-op, Ms. Davis, et cetera, but if we're gonna get out the year after that, we've gotta start taking those steps to build them more independent. Any other questions about the co-op?
Is that, I just walked in, but getting out of co-op, is that part of this, or just that's something we're doing just
No,
no matter this or not?
Yeah, I should turn it off, but I was scared to not get it up because Aaron got it.
Okay, yeah, that's just,
Yeah.
we're just doing that,
Yeah, that's
not on
separate.
the district manager.
That's separate, but
Okay,
because
I thought
those
so.
are, because these are two big issues, I wanted to spend some time
Okay.
communicating and asking, answering questions about it. And that's, yeah.
So, I mean, I was a little bit late.
That's
too.
okay.
So, did I miss the part? I know that they said that possibly one Jefferson could let us have it this year, or is that not gonna happen since they have an interim superintendent?
I don't see that happening.
Okay.
Yeah, I really don't. They don't have the facilities to, right now, to
So
take
then
life.
let's work on
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Any other questions about special ed? That was no. That was no. Is it gonna be like that? So, we're gonna talk about district of innovation? And I'll just say DOI for short, if that's okay. So, the first thing about DOI, it's not my idea. And so, the board asked about things like certifications, can we do this, can we do this? What would, for example, hiring CT teachers who didn't have a certification, but had work field experience, things like that. And communicated to them was that it would be much easier to hire people like that if we were district renovated. So through those conversations between you and the board wanted me to bring to them, what does it take to get this done? So that's how the process got started. And you can kind of see in the bullet points, but what the board did is the board wanted the district committee to take this up. Oops, I see some faces. You guys want on the, yeah, district site, please. So we met, the committee took it up, we talked about what the UI is and that sort of thing, and then we voted as a committee. And so the voting members, there were 19 voting members, which I was not one of the voting members. I don't think you weren't a voting member either. And this is how the vote turned out. And since the majority of the committee voted to develop an innovation plan, Mr. Burris had those 16 individuals sign a petition. In December, it was given to the board, and so now the board has to hold a public hearing within 30 days of this petition to consider an innovation plan. So that's what they're doing on Monday. And it wasn't until the board decided to do that that I felt I should even talk about it. Because otherwise, it would almost be like me promoting the thing without the board ever, deciding to even take that step. And so that's why I'm talking about it now and not back then. Yes, ma'am.
Do we have a time or a date for Monday?
For the meeting?
Yeah, is that
It's-
something we're allowed to all go to?
Yes, it's a public meeting.
Okay.
Yeah. It's 6:15 is what time it
Okay.
starts. Yes, ma'am. It's in the boardroom. Yeah. Who knows, if there's a big group, it may be pretty crowded in there.
They're gonna decide this Monday.
No, we're just having a public
It's a regular, it's a board meeting.
It's a public hearing won't be posted prior to
It's a 72-hour notice, so it's gonna be posted like any other board meeting's posted.
the public hearing for
The
it.
public hearing for it. So that was that step, and then actually Monday's the 14th, not the 17th. So if you wrote that down, I just wanted to make that notation. And so the other day is a tentative date if the board decides to develop an innovation plan. All these other dates are tentative dates, so the board can have an idea about the whole process if it decides it wants to develop an innovation plan. And if you read TCTA's deal about district of innovation, they put it out, I think, in 2000. This is 18, maybe 2015. Did you guys read it?
Yeah.
So, I don't think they put out a recent one since, so it was put out before all these districts began to adopt it. Right now in Texas, over half the districts in Texas are district innovation. So I'd really like them to go back now, relook at what they published, and then give us a different perspective about where they are. One of the things that I kind of, one of the things I do kind of agree with TCTA, there's a statement there that says, these should be called districts of exemptions and not districts of innovation plans. Do you remember that?
Yes.
So, and here's why. If you go online and you look at all the innovation plans, they're really not plans. They put out what districts have exempted themselves from. Okay? And here's why I think. Before you can be innovative, you have to have the barriers down. And so, until you have the barriers down, then the whole process of innovation doesn't happen. I think that's the idea. I know that's the idea. So that's why it's mainly talking about exemptions and The rest of this is really all about exemptions. So the innovation committee with each district, I haven't read any, have you read any that actually talk about a specific program, how it was developed, and I just haven't read that. I haven't read that in any of the innovation plans. But I think it's because of the reasons I just said. Barriers are down, now people really start looking into specifics of the program. And it requires so much work and detail. I don't think innovation committees take those are typically taken up by smaller groups, within the campuses and things like that. But one exception is teacher certification. And of course, that's been a big topic, I know. So if you're DOI, you can exempt, you can use exemptions, you can exempt yourself from having to have teachers being SBEC certified. It's used a lot for CTE, it's used a lot for what would have been probationary teaching in the past, but we could also say, look, you teach math, but I know you can teach business.
I'm certified for that.
You're SBEC certified, so we're gonna move you, we're gonna certify you ourselves, and we're gonna have you teach business. So you can also do that backwards. I know there's a lot of concern about certification, but we deal with it anyway.
And the understanding that if there was a qualified certified teacher, that would be the preference.
Yes.
But this would be more in the case when that's not available. And we have to fill a position,
Right.
so you just have to think outside the box because there's not a qualified certified teacher.
Correct. So the intent wouldn't be to hire teachers who weren't certified, but in the event that we didn't find a certified teacher, to use the exemption, go ahead and work. Because you're gonna have somebody in the classroom regardless.
Whether it's a permanent
Maybe a
sub.
long-term sub, maybe someone who's not certified, or it can be somebody that you're gonna certify with DOI. Yes, ma'am.
And this is certification and not necessarily degree.
This is, when you say degree, what do you mean?
Like a bachelor's. I would say not necessarily
Yeah, because
CTE.
in CTE, we could have a person who doesn't have a bachelor's degree and certified, because they have some work they.
If they were like teaching welding or something like that,
Does that make sense?
Teaching what?
like welding maybe or
Well,
something.
in the past, I mean, we've had like, say Huey actually that taught building, I mean, he didn't have how did that happen back then?
There's a way you can do it.
So there's a way to do it anyway, so I don't
There's a way to do it
understand,
anyway.
yeah, I don't understand why I do that.
Yeah, I didn't got
That's
that
just
yet.
right.
So,
Yeah, that's what I mean.
so almost every exemption, you can do now, but you gotta jump through different hoops to get it done.
Yes, correct me if I'm wrong, but like in Huey's case, we were able to hire Huey based on his experience.
Right.
We can still do that today, but they have to go back and take some of the courses towards certification. With just like you could hire that person, and then they're going to have to go back to get certified or take any courses.
Right, there's still some requirements, like in CTE. We would hire a person who doesn't have a degree, but SBEC still has a criteria that those people still have to do in order to.
But if we go this route, they wouldn't have to.
If we go this route, then we create our own criteria for it. Yeah, that is right.
So right now, you hire somebody, if you got a degree and 3 years' experience, or no degree and 5 years' experience in that trade, paid, and come in that trade, you can hire them, not certified, but it's just like hiring a non-certified teacher, they're gonna have to go back and start getting their certification.
Through Teach Texas or one of those programs. Some of that has
Does that answer your
changed.
question? Yeah. So yeah, almost every exemption, we can access now, but it's not easy to access it. You got to jump in, or there may be some additional requirements that TA may require, that under DOI would be required.
But you can't, I'm gonna throw it in, you didn't say in a meeting that teachers that are certified, or those say on that chapter 21 rules as far as employment. That's correct.
Next slide. Yeah, so that's another example of chapter 21 contract, what districts do with chapter 21. And all you've heard of chapter 21 contracts, right? The contract you have as an SBEC certified teacher or principal, chapter 21 of the education code, there's several sections of it that explain what it means to be a chapter 21 certified employee. And all those things, we just call it chapter 21 to encompass all of that. And so that's an exemption that a district will use as well, to issue or not issue chapter 21 contracts. Now, what I was talking to the committee about, I don't think the board has any interest in not issuing chapter 21 contracts to people who are SBEC certified. They have no interest in doing that. I mean, why would we do that? There's no incentive. Now, if a person is not SBEC certified, it does make sense not to issue a chapter 21. Chapter 21 contracts offer certain protections, and I think it's in the best interest of the district to not issue those if the person is not SBEC certified. And that's not to say we're gonna treat them differently, but they're not certified through SBEC like you are, or you are, or you are.
And it protects the district from getting stuck with a person who's not suitable for classroom.
Yeah.
Just because they're an expert in their field doesn't mean that they're a good teacher.
Yeah, we may hire somebody in the CTE area and say, okay, they have this work-based experience, we think they're gonna be a good teacher. But they may turn out not to be a good teacher, and now you're jumping through chapter 21 hoops. So you can have that person do something different. When you wouldn't have to do that if you didn't issue a chapter 21 contract. I mean, that just makes sense. So that's why I'm interested in you guys are in the classroom. Yes, ma'am.
So if you issue a chapter 21 contract, does that still protect like your duty-free lunch and your conference and all that? Because I think that's a big worry or concern for a lot of us.
Yeah, that's a separate exemption under chapter 21, but that is one of the exemptions. And then we talked about that in the meeting, so let's jump to that one.
I just think that's a major concern for a lot of
There's a
people.
big concern that if how that particular exemption is implemented, and that, guys, I want you to think about this for a minute. Why would we have an interest in taking away your preparation period? I mean,
Well, it might not be your interest to take it away,
yeah.
but if it gives you the power to do that,
Okay.
then I'm not interested in that. That's what's, when we talk to our campus, a lot of teachers are like, okay, if you can have the ability to do that, I know it's not your interest, and I know not you, but let's say that you got sick and maybe somebody else had to come be our superintendent, we had to get some new superintendent. Well, who's to say that that superintendent's not gonna take that power to do that?
Right.
That's what we're all concerned with, that's the bottom line.
Yeah, so
How does that keep from happening?
So when you read the innovation plans, what you see in those, so you'll have an exemption, and then part of the exemption, what will be in there is what the intent of this exemption is. So we would deal with those issues by specifying what the intent is. The intent of this exemption is not to eliminate preparation periods.
We just wanna be protected, that's.
And so
Hey,
if you state that that is not your intention, is there still the opportunity for that to be done, or does it
No.
eliminate that opportunity?
No, because remember, this innovation plan, this is the board's innovation plan.
And it's like a 5-year deal, right?
Yeah.
So could we exclude that exemption to where that's not even an exemption on there? I
Oh,
mean,
there are districts that only take up the early start exemption.
Yeah.
Sure.
okay.
So you can.
You can pick and choose
I didn't
whatever
hear.
you want.
So that might just be something that might ease our nerves if that was not even an option in there, unless there's some type of,
Because that's why everybody's concerned,
yeah, that's the major
that's the
concern.
major concern
I
on
don't
my campus
I don't
also.
believe the committee's gonna touch too much of the chapter 21
that was my understanding when we had the thing, is that when we build this thing, it's a committee that builds it, and they build for our district what we want, and I worried about the exact same thing, cause I trust this man, but, we don't know what tomorrow brings, right? And so, one of the things that was made clear, it is for 5 years, you can't really change it, once you set it up, you're stuck with it for pretty much for 5 years, isn't that right?
You can amend it,
But a
but you
little
gotta
bit.
go through a process.
But you gotta go through that whole committee process and all the board approving it again. So it's not like it's gonna be
Well,
an
well, the-
easy, somebody's
the deal
just gonna
is-
willy-nilly come and do it.
Decide what exemptions you want, and even if you don't think you're gonna use it right away, go ahead and take the exemption, and you may never use it.
But is that one we could not take to make teachers feel better about the whole thing?
It could be, it could be. Who said, think outside the box, who said that earlier? All right, so I have a saying, and I don't wanna be famous for anything other than this saying. Okay? There is no box. There is no box. The minute we say, think outside the box, you just created the box and you put yourself in it. Think about that for a minute. Think about it. We live in a Judeo-Christian society, right? So most of us are Christian, and so we're familiar with the Gospel of John. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word became flesh, right? Speaking it creates it. So when you say there's a box, boom, you just created it. Rene Descartes, the French philosopher, said, I think, therefore I am, right? So if you think it, then you created it. So if you think there's a box, then, or if you say, the minute you say, think outside the box, you just created it. I think that's the whole reason this is about exemptions and getting rid of the barriers. That's the whole purpose of breaking down barriers. We haven't been able to think any different in education because we have certain things that we have to think about. Until we can stop thinking about those things, we can't get creative. So that's one of my concerns about not putting an exemption like that, because, and it also depends on your perspective. I remember as a high school principal trying to create a schedule, so we talked about block scheduling one time. And here's the thing that stopped us from doing blocks, because at the time, I think a whole group of us wanted to do it, but conference periods, preparation periods wouldn't allow us because we would have had to add like 4 or 5 additional staff. But if one day you got a conference period for 35 minutes, another day you got a conference period for 90 minutes, that's not allowable under the law right now. But if you were DOI, you could do that. I don't think anybody would object, as long as you got a preparation period every day. One was super long and one was fairly short. I don't think anybody would object to that.
But if the superintendent had the power, if we passed that, and the superintendent had the power to decide that, what if the superintendent decided, okay, no conference?
Actually, he
Then
doesn't.
we're kind of stuck, right?
Actually, superintendent does it. That's the thing about DOI. If you have a program, then there's gonna be the district committee deciding about a specific program. So it wouldn't be somebody sitting alone doing that.
I don't think, but we just wanna know. We don't wanna say, we don't think, we wanna make sure that that's not ever, somebody doesn't ever have the right to take our conference from us. You know what I'm saying? Cause if that's our fear. You know, our fear is, if this passes, how are we guaranteed that we're, nobody's gonna argue with 30 minutes one day, 90 minutes the next, as long as we get our conference, because there's so much to do and our time is so valuable. But what if somebody has that power and says, no, you know what, you get 30 minutes every other day? And that's what
So
you get.
who would have the power to
So-
change
So
our conference?
that's how we wanna know, is that a possibility if we pass that section?
So if you take up that exemption, then that's what in the innovation plan, remember I talked about the intentions of the exemption? So you describe that as part of that exemption. The intention is not to ever eliminate preparation periods, but to allow perhaps a short preparation period and a long preparation period to be innovative, or something like that. So you put that into the innovation plan, and once the board passes it, it's like board policy.
That's it.
It's like board policy. This is the board's plan. So when the intentions are put in there, the
Then you
superintendent
must
can't
follow
come
the
in and
intentions.
decide, I wanna do X, because these are the board's intentions.
See, and that's what, you know, as a group, we, you know, I'm talking about elementary because
Right.
we talked a lot and said, okay, we just need to know more. We need to know, okay, how are we gonna be protected?
Yeah.
You know, is that gonna be protected? Are we gonna be able to have, cap on 22 in our classroom? Or is this innovation gonna be able to, you know, you can pack them in there? Because 22 is enough. Okay, we're back with 22.
So classroom size, that's an exemption.
Yes,
And here's what we ran into on your campus
yes.
2 weeks before the Christmas break, or 3 weeks before Christmas break. So we had a classroom that went 20-30. We had a classroom of 23, and then we had 2 other grade levels where we have teachers, we had 2 teachers that we can move from a different grade level into that grade level and bring it down 22-1, and still be 22-1, less than, or less in every other grade. Now, it's December. Do we want to make that move?
No.
How many teachers, how many parents want their kid moved from this teacher to other teachers in December? Nobody wants that, okay? Well, we don't have a choice, either we have to do that, or we gotta jump through the administrative hoops to follow a waiver with TEA to say we're over 22-1, when we're really not over 22-1. Now, as a superintendent, now here's what I do have the power to do. As a superintendent, you know, I wouldn't wanna do that, but from an administrative standpoint, I do wanna do it because now I gotta answer questions about why we're following a waiver because our class sizes are too large when they're really not too large. You see? But if we're DOI, we don't have to jump through the state hoops to follow a waiver because we know what's best for our kids, and we don't wanna do that simply because we're at 23. And by the way, the next week, one of those kids moved and we're back down 22-1. So that's the kind of thing, and so you put those intentions into the exemptions, and that way the superintendent can't come back and say, okay, I'm gonna go 24-1 at our elementary grades. So you put those, you put those intentions into the plan, so that superintendent can't do that.
That's good.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, whenever we're writing, whoever is writing these, intentions, is there a list that they have to go through and say what's their, so like in chapter 21, because I know the board is all about the certification part, but let's just say the conference period, maybe they're not even thinking about the conference because they're so worried about that certification part. How do we make sure that they're including, like if they don't say anything at all about that conference period, do that?
That's why you have these kind of meetings, and by the way, all this stuff came up in.
Oh, it did.
Yeah,
In the site-based committee. That's why the majority of the voting, members are classroom teachers. Yes, sir.
I don't know how many of you have ever seen an innovation plan, but if you go to TEA, every school that has a district innovation, their plan's posted, you can just click on that school district. I think if you get familiar with the way the exemption and innovation is, it reads, we got a lot of leeway to create things that we wanna do. We don't wanna mess with our conference period, and then we leave it alone. I mean, I think if you go in there and study what some other districts are doing, maybe you understand the process, maybe a little better.
But all of the concerns, though, you still address as part of the exemption, and when you read those plans that Mr. Broussard was talking about, you'll see, and some of them districts don't spell out as much, but you can tell where people have a lot of concern. Because that's where they really develop what the
As long as we can
intentions.
spell it out.
Yeah, that's why they begin to spell out what the intentions of the exemption is for this district. Yeah. So we dealt with the class size. This is one we can get an exemption from too, the 90% attendance rule. There's a few notes where kids might be in this situation. Online is a biggie. So if some districts have online high schools, I don't know if you guys are, have you seen that with some school districts? Houston has some online schools, Dallas, actually, Huntsville ISD has an online school. So this is what allows Huntsville to have an online high school. Yeah, they don't have, I think, last time I talked to that superintendent, who's not even there anymore, I think they only had like 20 kids in it. But these are kids who just couldn't function in school. And so instead of those kids being dropouts, they partnered with, actually a company, a private company, who offers online courses. But the thing about that is, TA still says the kid has to be in attendance, like a buck to see 90% of the time in order to receive credit. Well, you have to exempt yourself through DOI, and then those kids can graduate and not have to worry about this particular deal. So that's what it's for, programs like that.
Could that work with chronic health issues? I mean, we have some kids here that,
Yeah, and again, so kids with chronic health issues who may fall below and let's say they're not special ed, they haven't gone through that whole process of special ed, but we know that they're chronically ill. We could exempt them from the 90% rule, well, the principal could, simply about being DOI, yes.
But we still can do that.
We-
Replacement committee, we still
Which-
need.
Yeah, so here's the difference. Remember I said every exemption here we can do on our own, pretty much. The difference is, the principal can't make the decision, he's gotta pull the committee together, we gotta meet. You gotta jump through those hoops. So a lot of this is to keep us from having to do the bureaucratic stuff that we typically would have to do to get these things done.
But I don't like that. Because you have a lot of kids that are taking to that.
But remember, it's a district process. So it's not like any kid who falls below 90% is automatically exempted. That's not how it works.
Yeah, I understand.
Employee appraisals, I mean, we can exempt ourselves out of T-tests. If you do that, then you have to create your own local assessment. So, but that's the thing. But my take would be, ask for the exemption, you never have to use it, but if.
somebody came up with an innovative way to
As a
do it.
district, if we said we want to do something different than T-tests, and we wanted to spend some time developing one, then we can do that, and we already have the exemption.
I just think right now with what they want the principals to do is I think it's impossible for you to see the teachers the number of times they want you to see the teachers. And,
It's a tough process.
I mean,
Remember
really,
last year, we went to less than annual evaluations,
yeah,
and that's one of the.
yeah.
Campus behavior coordinator, right now, the code explicitly says the principal has to be the campus behavior coordinator. We all know who deals with most of the discipline on the campus, assistant principal.